Good evening and welcome to the World of Book Reviews. I'm Judy Morio, your host, and this is my guest, and I'm going to ask him to tell you his name because I have messed it up in trying to pronounce it several times. So even though I know you, Yves, please, will you pronounce your last name for us?
Yves de Boisdon.
You see? You see, that's why I messed it up. But it's a beautiful last name. If we
Thank
could
you,
say
thank you.
it, it's
Yes.
very, is it French?
Totally, 100%
I thought
French.
so.
Yes,
It
it
sounds
is.
very French, right?
Yes.
And Yves written this incredible book called The Truth About Wine. And what I thought was interesting, it says the answers to questions you never dared to ask. What would I never dare to ask about wine?
Well, the thing is that when you know, the more you know about wine, the more you know that you don't know much, actually. And so I've always had questions from friends when I was in the wine business, and since then, actually, telling me, so how do I choose a wine? What's the best wine? What is?
Right.
And I was thinking, it's very hard, actually, when you're not in the profession of winemaking or selling wines or distributing wines. It's very hard to realize that the quality of the wines depends on mostly the vineyard.
Yes.
So, because the wine is made in the vineyard. Very few people know that. They think that the wine is made, you buy grapes, you stomp them like Lucy. I
Yes,
love Lucy.
yeah.
You remember the
And I
scene?
love Lucy.
That great
I
scene?
love that
And
scene.
it's a beautiful scene. I love it. So you stomp on the grapes, singing and having a great music like this. And then you put it somewhere and it ferments and it becomes wine. Yes. Does it become drinkable wine? I would say it becomes a beverage.
Yeah.
Okay. Because actually, good wine is made in a vineyard. Because the vineyard has to be nurtured, the vineyard has to be protected, and the vineyard has to be grown in a certain way in certain locations. And this is why wines are so different. Because if you grow a vineyard in one location, it's going to be very different from another location. And this is why usually you can't compare wines. When they have these tasting, when they say, oh, we're going to put French wines and California wines and Australian wines and South African wines, and we're going to do a blind tasting and we're going to see which one is the best. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's do it now with potato, carrots, grapefruit, avocado, blind tasting of all this and say which one is the best. Does it make sense?
No.
It doesn't. It's the same for wine. So people are getting confused. People are getting intimidated mostly.
Because shipping the grapes before the wine is made is also not good to do, right?
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. Actually, it's one of the great questions that you can ask when you visit a vineyard. When you make your wine, are the grapes coming only from your vineyard? Or do you buy grapes from somewhere else? And how far is it? And how long does it travel? And is it protected when it travels? I remember going to a very famous vineyard in California, and I was showing my wife, I was showing off a little bit, and I said, she said, oh, we can't go there. I said, yeah, let's go through the back and we'll see what happens. It was harvest time. And I show up and you had these beautiful big vats, a lot of them, huge vats. A vat is where the wine is fermented. So it's like a big container, but it's huge. It contains thousands of gallons, okay? And we passed a line of trucks full of grapes. I mean, huge trucks, semi, full of grapes, sitting in the sun, waiting to be processed, to be put in the vats. And I told my wife, you see, that's one of the questions you ask when you come to a vineyard. Where is your grape coming from? So first of all, what kind of vines do you plant in the soil that you choose? That's a very important question. For instance, you don't plant. It's not easy to plant Riesling, for instance, in Southern California because it's not a climate for the Riesling. It's going to grow because a vine is a vine. So a vine is going to grow everywhere. If you have soil and water, the vine is going to grow. It's like jasmine. It's like all these kind of vines or orchids.
Right.
So the wine, it's the same a little bit for the wine. So the question is, how old are your vines? Because if your vines are only young vines, the grape that you're going to get are going to be different from the grapes that you get from an older vine. The older the vine, the deeper the roots, the better the nutrients, and less grapes on the vine. So when you have a good vineyard, you have a balance between the young vines, middle-aged, and older. When I say older, I'm talking about 80, 90, sometimes 100 years old. But to get a 100-year-old vine in your vineyard, it means that you have a vision. So few corporations have this kind of 100-year vision when they grow a vineyard,
Right.
because you need to make money. So this is going to make difference in the quality of the wine. So these are the questions you can ask, and figure out why the wine is more expensive, why the wine is less expensive, because it's more mass-produced, maybe. Younger vines producing a lot. It doesn't mean the wine is bad, but it's not going to be as good as another type of wine.
Now, is the wine, I know that sometimes people buy wine and they put it up and they keep it for 20 years and it's
Yes.
worth a lot of money, and someday they drink it. Now, is the wine better after you store it for a period of time like
It
that?
depends on the wine. I would say for 1% of the wines produced in the world, you might be right. But for the rest, usually 2-3 years maximum, and you have to drink it. Because some wines are not made to be aged. It's a question of how they're made, how long they've been aged in a wooden cask, how long they've been done. It's the way that they're made that is going to, and the process will tell you if the wine can be aged or not.
I see. We're going to have to take a break. I have lots more questions for you, so don't go away.
I'm not.
And don't you go away either. Thank you. We're going to be back in just a moment to talk more about the truth about wine. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for calling Denim Revival.
Hate to say goodbye to your favorite jeans? Well, now you don't have to, because Denim Revival is here for you. Mail us your jeans and our professionals will fix it right up. We offer you all kinds of alteration services, including invisible repairs, let outs, taperings, and original hemming, or even have your own custom-made jeans. Quoted the best denim repair shop by GQ, Vogue Magazine, and LA Times. Denim Revival, your search for alteration and repair ends here.
Love is the essence of beauty. And at Vegas Beauty Skin Center, we love what we do. Fall in love with your skin again. From our laser services to eyebrow threading and facials, everything we do at Vegas Beauty Skin Center is about helping you look your best. Come to Vegas Beauty Skin Center, where every client is number one. Call 702-722-6464. LVAC members receive 20% off all services.
Welcome back. We're at the World of Book Reviews, and we are talking about the truth about wine with Yves du Bourdon.
Yes,
Bourdon.
pretty good.
Am I pretty close?
Yes, you are very close.
Oh, good.
No
You've
worries.
got such a beautiful name, and I just don't like messing it up.
No
for
worries.
you at all.
I've heard many different pronunciations, so I'm not worried.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Now, you go into the wine store to buy a bottle of wine for dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see there's a bottle for $5.98, and
Yes.
on the next shelf it's $7.98, and
Yes.
on the next shelf it's $19.98, and on the next shelf it's $55, whatever, right?
Yes.
Is that wine really 10 times better than the wine that's $5.98?
I think you have the answer in your question. Because it depends on your taste. It depends really on your. It depends on your taste. I would say that when you start drinking wine, it's an education, because the flavors in wines are so complex and different from one wine to the other that it needs experience, it needs practice, and it needs focus of your mind, because and it's something that nobody can actually. You can be taught how to taste, but I don't think that anybody can tell you this is the wine you should like or this is not the wine you should like, because each one of us is very unique in that way. We have fingerprints. There are no two eyes the same in the universe, and it's the same for our taste. Okay, so the way our tasting buds are built, and the way our the little mucus in the back of our nose here is built too, makes a big difference. I might have 700 taste buds, you might have 4,500. So there is no way we're going to taste the same. So it's a question of practice, of memory, of atmosphere. Let's say we're together, in this beautiful environment. I really like it, by the way. These books are beautiful. And so we're having, there's the fireplace, and we're having great conversation, and we're drinking this wine, and we're creating great memory. And the memory that you'll have of this wine will be attached to the ambiance that we had, to the atmosphere. Or we're sitting at a table with friends and family, we're having a lot of fun, and we're drinking this wine, and it's flowing, and everybody loves it. It's a great rosé. It's in the summer, and it's and the kids are jumping in the pool, and it's beautiful. Great memory. We're going to love this wine, and we're going to want to reproduce not this experience, but the experience is attached to something which is complex, which is not only the taste of the wine in itself,
Right.
the memory I will have about the taste, and the atmosphere that is attached to it. And this is why this, to answer your question, to get back to your $5 and $5.99, when you start drinking wine, you start at the bottom of the ladder, and then when you've tasted some wines, pick a bottle of the expensive wine and figure it out. Is it really 10 times more better? No. First of all, there is no way you can measure 10 times better. How can you do it? You can say, oh, I really like it. It's much better. Is it 10 times better? It depends on the money you have in your wallet. It depends on what you want to spend. And this is also why I wanted to write this book, The Truth About Wine, because I think that people need help to get out of this confusing world of wine. This is why I put this picture on the book, with all these bottles. It's so confusing. Why do I start? Start at the bottom. It's not because the wine is, you remember we used to talk about the $2 chuck?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not because it's a $2 chuck that it's not a good wine. And how are you going to figure this out? Blind tasting. Because it has to be really blind tasting. So what you do is you line the glasses of wine, okay? And you have someone pour one glass, one wine, 2 glasses. Someone else pours the wine, so you don't know which is which. And then you smell your wine, you taste it, spit it out, go to the next one. Make notes. Oh, I liked it because it tasted, this taste of fruit I had, of red fruit maybe in the back, or maybe raspberry or something. It becomes complex. And the more you taste, the same wine, if you go back to the same wine, it's like opening a second door. And then you open a third door, and you figure out the different flavors, the different smells, scents that you find in the wine. And try it with an inexpensive wine, and then go and then put more expensive wines in the line of glasses and figure out, okay, I made notes, which is the one I like best. It might be different from yours. And then we compare notes. Oh, you found this in the wine. That's interesting. I did not. Let me try again. You try again, you taste and say, oh yeah, I find it too now.
Yeah.
So it becomes a game, it becomes fun, and it doesn't have to be expensive. And then little by little, you're going to educate your palate. And one day you're going to maybe say, I really would like to try one of these very expensive wine to see if my experience is going to be different. Gather a group of friends, have a great meal, taste the wine during the meal, and because it's all about experience. Wine tasting is not an intellectual thing. Wine tasting is the joy of sharing with friends and family.
Yes.
Mostly. That's what I would say.
Yes. Well, I just can't thank you enough for being here with us tonight. I feel like the time just flew by, and we didn't get to discuss near all of the wonderful things that you've talked about in the book, or the fabulous pictures that you have in here. Yes. But I thank you for being here. Please tell my audience how we can get a copy of how they can get a copy of your book, and how they can contact you.
Well, you can get a copy of my book on Amazon. It's on Kindle, audiobook, and hard copy. I suggest you go Kindle. It's going to be much more affordable. But I think it will really help you figure out this world of wine. And then also, if you want to go to my website, I have a website called the Ultimate Wine Fantasy Experience.com. The Ultimate Wine Fantasy Experience.com.
I want to go there just because of the name of it.
Isn't that
The
great?
Ultimate Wine Fantasy Experience.com. Yes, yes. Thank you for being here, and thank you for joining us. You can find our show archived on AK television. Oh, I'm having trouble with my mouth tonight. On akexpertstv.com. So look it up, akexpertstv.com. You can see all of our World of Book Review shows and hear us interview all of the wonderful guests, as well as Stephanie Thompson's show and Amy Kardashian's Expert TV show as well. So thank you so much for being with us.